Okay, so I chose my party last time, but I don't think I did equipment just yet. Yeah, especially since Shinjiro does not currently have anything equipped, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over. Okay, I've switched over some items. Ken now has the 4-leaf clover. Shinjiro now has the life belt, and we can now give Mitsuru this weapon that we got from fighting those swords. It's a lot stronger than what she had before, so that's why I like to do that fight. And I think that's pretty much everything we can do in terms of equipment. Sub-personas, yeah, we'll definitely need to swap around some of those. Let's see, what will Ken get? Could actually go for you for the poison, but I'm not really sure poison's going to be that useful at this point. Disarm's kind of nice too, and the plus 21 SP is also good. Don't have any sub-personas that have Mudo, unfortunately. I'm actually going to go ahead and use you for now. Akihiko does decently well with both magically inclined and physically inclined personas, so since I also have Shinjiro in the group and he's definitely taking Sandman, Akihiko can go ahead and take... I mean, he could go for a Gartheon, but I don't know. Or just that. Or even Slime. Maybe I'll give you Slime for the time being. And Mitsuru will actually go ahead and take a Gartheon. I kind of like giving Mitsuru a Gartheon. I think for now, that's the best that you've got. Although once you learn Resist Elect, you might not be bad on Aegis. All of Resolve is nice, but I kind of like the insurance policy of Sudokura Foot. Now, I also realize I've actually forgotten to go ahead and sell my stuff, so I'll do that now. Got quite a lot of money out of that, too. And we can make a whole bunch of other things. Actually, one thing that we can make now, which is really, really helpful, Revival Beads. We'll have access to a better form of Revival when we get to the end of this floor, but for now, these are a little expensive, but for emergency purposes, I like having a few of them, so I'll take a couple of those. I have one medicine. I'll take 2 more. And I don't have any of these with me, I'll definitely take 1. Most people say they only really need 1 at a time, but sometimes I like to buy multiple just to save on repeated trips back here. So we have a bind curing item, as well as a status ailment curing item. I mean, okay, actually, since we're fighting Justice Swords, these might be kind of useful, but I think I'm fine here. Also, we have these oils, which, weirdly enough, I never use these in most of my playthroughs. I just don't really find them all that useful. We do have access to some more weapons, but as you can see, yeah, we can't even get the Flamberge yet. I kind of prefer getting some better armor for people, so how about you take a, one of these. Don't want to sell the chainmail, though. I guess Akihiko will take one. And yeah, go ahead and sell that. Mitsuru and Ken could use better armor too, but, can't really afford the best armor that I have access to at this point. And we now have access to the Vigor Fob, apparently. You might want to hold off on buying the Plum Potpourri for now, because let's just say that, anyway, you probably already know what I'm talking about. You can probably guess. Okay, so the main character's a little low on SP, but I think we're probably fine to go back into the dungeon without spending money on healing now. And I think that's everything that I need to do, so let's go ahead and save and head back in. Now, before we do anything else, I actually did miss a couple of things on my first trip through the floor, so I'm going to go back for one of them. The second one, though, I'll be back for a bit later on, because it's right next to the map completion chest anyway, so I might as well take care of it then.
There are 3 shadows.
Okay, with that distraction out of the way, don't know why I forgot to even go through this door earlier, but there's not much in here. There's just a square room with a power spot. Right in the center. But at least it's more map completion. And that's all we got out of that. Wow, the encounter meter is increasing really quickly over here.
This victory was built on our past experience.
This guy's growing too.
Okay, we got Tarukaja out of that. Null's sleep is, well, I would say it's kind of nice, but like I said in the last part, sleep is not amazing in this game.
My persona's specs have increased.
Talking about it like a computer there. Resist fire is pretty solid though. Remember I said I liked having a Gartheon and Mitsuru? That's why, but also because it gives good SP and also gives her access to an extra element and Hummer, so yeah, generally good all round. Like I said, this area down here, I am going to explore that later, but it's right next to the floor completion chest. We'll have to come back through there anyway. So, almost up to where we left off for this floor. Here we go. New territory. And new FOEs. There's 2 of them in this room.
Oh.
No, we shouldn't. We're still not nearly strong enough to fight them yet.
Please be careful.
And yeah, we already know that they're pretty strong. Hi there, FOE. As long as you're 1 step behind me, it's pretty much safe, so let's just mark out this area. This FOE likes to go around this pond area here. I should probably be marking the territories in 2 different colors, because there's 2 FOEs here. So there's one here that just patrols back and forth. And it goes right up to there. However, their territories don't actually overlap, so I can probably mark them in like this. I think I actually made a mistake when I was doing my one I prepared earlier map from before. So there is a treasure chest over there. The treasure chest down the bottom corner of the map, I was actually thinking of this one. This one you do need to access from a different angle because there's actually no way to sneak past this FOE right now. As you can see, we can't get through it. So let's just head onward. We will have a way of getting that treasure chest very soon. And as you can see on the map, the rabbit is pretty close. Ah, you again. And 2 sleeping tables. As you can see, we now know they have the lullaby song. Now, here is something that I forgot to mention about the enslaved beast last time. Bestial Roar. Raise physical attack and act first for 3 turns. Now, what it means by act first is, it actually goes before boost, which is really, really bad. Because of that, I'm going to actually use Polimpra to try and panic it and make it so that it can't use that. Or if it does use that, it won't be able to use... Well, it won't be able to get the major benefit from it. Its higher attack power will generally go towards attacking other enemies. Also, Irony Factor, let's try and hit one of those things with sleep, even though it probably won't work. I guess I can try and show poison, but... Oh, they're weak to dark, not light. Unless they're weak to both. I know the enslaved beast is weak to both. I probably should have tried Hammer on it, actually, but I guess we can try Hammer on these things. And that is really unfortunate. But Mitsuru woke up, but she immediately went unconscious because, yeah. I probably need to use my Revival Bead during this battle because she is low level compared to everyone else. And if she ends the battle unconscious, then she doesn't get the experience, as is generally the case in most RPGs. Persona! Slime looks pretty silly there. Alright. No one had any comment on that. Okay then, you'd think Akihiko would comment on that, but... anyway. I'll go for Hummer on the other one, because the beast is panicked right now. The thing about Bestial Roar is, we'll actually get a party member who learns Bestial Roar later on, but I actually think that the way that it was coded in this game is a little bit weird, because I don't think it should have made you act before boost, and here's why. Acting before boost only benefits the enemy, not you.
You got such fluffy fur.
Yep, Shinjiro was dreaming about Koromaru. Like I said before, I love the sleep quotes in this game. But as I was saying, acting before boost only benefits enemies, not you. Because enemies don't get boost status. So you acting before boost doesn't really matter, but enemies acting before boost is devastating to you. So it's kind of a case of the computer is a cheating bastard. Oh, and Ukabak. This is a persona that I really, really like as well. Just like Pixie, it has Pulimpa, but it also learns an Agility Bind skill, and Agility Bind is also great in this game.
We won, but we can't relax yet.
It's a little bit redundant with... Is any persona... Yeah, you're gonna learn new skills, nice.
On our side.
It's a little bit redundant with Pulimpa because they both prevent the enemy from dodging, but it's kind of nice to have both of them on hand, and I like to use...
Can't be a normal wall up ahead. Why don't we go check it out?
Okay, now that I'm not talking over Shinjiro, I like to use personas with Agility Bind as fusion fodder. But anyway, now that we have access to this secret passage, we can go through, and now we can get this treasure chest, just as soon as I've drawn the walls in around it. Red treasure chests usually contain something a bit, more valuable or decent than the others, but for that, that's just a piece of a hand shadow.
Looks like we have an FOE on our hands.
Hi there, FOE.
There are 3
Oh,
shadows.
hi there,
Leave it
swords.
to me.
Okay, this could backfire, but I'm actually going to try and have Ken disarm one of these swords and see if that works. There we go. So, that Justice Sword can no longer use physical attacks, which is all of its attacks. So that renders it virtually useless. There are a lot of enemies that are crippled very badly by Strength Bind, especially one on the 3rd floor, and you really want to have Strength Bind when fighting that enemy. Also, something about binds that I haven't actually mentioned yet, is that you can stack all yeah, I know. Is that you can stack all 3 binds on the same target, unlike regular status ailments where you can only have one of those at a time. Binds stack with each other, so you can have... Do I use Bufu or do I try and risk with Hammer? It's not like there's that much of a penalty if I fail this, because it's strength bound.
What?
But yeah, if an enemy is strength bound, you can also agility bind them, or magic bind them. Binds in general are incredibly good, and you want to have binds on your personas as often as possible. And I guess while I'm here, I can also mention something. Unlike in the main Persona games, poison can kill you.
Hello, everyone.
And it can definitely kill you, because I've seen enemies die to poison quite often.
That was an excellent attack. I'll be... I did it! I leveled up!
I'll be hee I did it. Okay then. Well, Ken's gonna learn Recalm next. I don't think I can actually step on that spot safely. No, I can, only just. Yeah, that's where you gotta be really careful, because for map completion, if a spot can be stepped on without fighting an FOE, it will count towards completion, so you will need to step on it. The only exception is, there are some dungeons later on that have spaces that are impossible to step on without fighting an FOE. Those do not count for the map completion chest, thankfully. Okay, we're almost there. 88% of the way through the floor, but first let's just explore through here. The encounter rate seems to be very high in this part of the map. Oh, not you again.
Hey, let me at him.
Okay, we got a follow-up attack from Shinjiro here.
It's got guts.
Not really all that strong, it's just a basic hammer throw. Everyone has their own unique follow-up attacks. Some of them are more useful than others, but
Has only begun.
overall they're extremely, I don't know, you can't really plan for them, so I don't find them to be particularly useful. That's not resistant to anything physical. Something that I guess I could mention while I'm here is let's not use Hammer on you, is that it's not shown in the navigator info, but all enemies have their own, like, resistances and vulnerabilities to different status ailments and binds as well. The Justice Sword, I believe, is weak to almost every status ailment, so they're kind of like a way to hammer it in that you want to be using status ailments in this game and that they make fights a lot easier.
Prepare for the next battle.
And you'll see how much easier they make things on the 3rd floor, where there's one enemy that is, well, you kind of want to use binds and stuff against it.
Your persona's gotten stronger.
Clairvoyance. Reveal nearby treasure boxes, FOEs, and shortcuts. So this essentially replaces the ones that only reveal one of those things.
My persona's definitely improving.
Restoring touch is actually quite a significant skill for Slime, but we won't know why that is until the 3rd dungeon. But this basically means that you recover from status. In fact, this is essentially shed skin from Pokemon. Rakunda is not bad of a skill either.
She's growing up too.
Resist Elec is pretty cool as well. But I still like having that skill on my Navigator. Rather than, you know, say someone like Igus or Yukari. And there we go, we've opened up a shortcut back to the start of the floor.
Let's look.
So we've unlocked pretty much every shortcut here. But let's keep going. Yeah, wow, the encounter rate's really high on this side of the map. And the rabbit's back. Unfortunately, it's right next to the stairs, so...
I found the stairs.
There it goes. So, the rabbit chase will continue on the next floor. And immediate random encounter, I thought so.
The next battle is already calling me.
Okay, this whole team's level 4 now, that's good.
Leader, are you alright? Please be sure to watch your health.
Yeah, you kind of have a point there. We are almost done with this floor, though. Would probably be a good idea to go down there now, and because going down there means that when we do start from furthest floor, we'll start from there. But I kind of want to finish exploring this floor before we go down, and yeah, you get into encounters quickly here.
There are 3.
Could go for an all-out attack. Send it back. All finished.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd be getting a Persona out of that. Ame no Uzume. Ame no Uzume is mainly designed as a Navigator Persona, but I kind of prefer... Well, we'll get to that towards the end of this video.
My Persona's gotten stronger.
Okay, nice. Wind Wall. At least this affects your entire party rather than one character like these skills did in Persona 4, but I still don't find them to be that spectacularly useful in this game. Alright, I actually should switch over, because now that Pixie's learned everything it can... I really should have been using Ukobak earlier. Because I definitely want to learn Scarecrow as soon as possible. I mainly remember Ukobak from Castlevania, where I remember it being an incredibly annoying enemy in some of the games. Incredibly annoying, it just leaves these little fires all over the screen. Dormouse page, we needed some of those.
Huh? I think there's
And, yep,
something
secret
funny going
passage.
on with that wall up ahead.
And a treasure chest. So in here we have... power something, I didn't notice what it was called. Let me just check what that is. Power Tasuki. Strength +3. Definitely useful for people like Shinjiro. I might actually save that for now. I'm gonna put it on you for the time being. But as you can see, we've almost explored this entire floor. But not quite. And in fact, I actually think the best way to get where I want to go here is to get into a battle and use Sudokura Foot. I don't normally like using this skill, but...
There are 3 shadows.
A lion shadow. Looks fierce.
Here I go.
The good thing is that Navigator abilities take effect immediately, so... we're right back here. Now, I actually find that getting to this area is a lot easier from above via this shortcut here. So let's head down here, and we're still getting into encounters really quickly for some reason.
There are 3 shadows. The sword that arm is holding is kind of cool.
And this is about when these swords get really annoying.
Persona!
And that's the first time you've crit with that this entire visit to the dungeon.
What the? Fix my power! I missed.
I thought that might happen.
Come!
And this is when these things get really annoying. I think I'm just gonna try and run here.
Mitsuru-senpai has
need to treat this poison.
Okay, I got lucky with the run there. We're not really hurting that much. Yeah, I can probably afford to do this.
Jim,
So,
there's an FOE over there.
here's the thing with this FOE. You actually can get past it. Yeah, we just need to wait for it to go over there. Just gonna mark that in too. And now we're in front of it, we can actually head through here now. So yeah, I was thinking about the chest later on the floor when I first got to this area.
Oh, there's a treasure box over there.
So we now have 100% of the map and a treasure chest. Ring mail. That sounds like an Age of Empires upgrade, which it actually is. Less defense than the Lion HP, but it does give increased HP and agility. I might actually give that to Ken for now.
You all know this floor perfectly well by now.
But yes, as Fuka says, we now have 100% floor completion. Oh, it actually comes all the way up here. So, gonna go ahead and mark that in. Sidestep there. And we can safely get around you. So now we're through with that. We can grab this chest.
A treasure box. There might be something inside.
A Rakam skill card. Skill cards are essentially TMs from Pokemon. You use them to teach abilities. Skill cards are going to get far more useful later in the game, but for the time being, if you see a skill card that you really want to use now, definitely do it, otherwise it will take up space in your inventory. Rakam, I actually like putting this on the main character, just so I'm guaranteed to have somebody with a revival skill in my party at all times. So as you can see, every persona has 4 slots for skill cards. You can overwrite skills once you've filled up all 4 of those slots though. You know, weird thing is, I kind of want a Sugatora foot again. That seems to be my best method of getting back to the beginning quickly, because I want to go to the start of the 3rd floor before I exit, because just like the start of the 2nd floor, that will unlock something. So let's just have everyone defend and wait for the Sudokora foot to kick in.
Protect everyone!
Thought for a second that she said protect the everyone. And now let's head down to the 3rd floor. Hopefully we won't get into any encounters before then. We didn't, okay, that's good. And we have even more different music. Don't get used to that though.
Are you tired, Ray?
This dungeon is the only one in the game where every floor has its own unique theme. For most other dungeons, there's usually only 2 songs for that dungeon, and you'll only have 1 music change for the whole place. All of the dungeon themes are so good in this game, though, that very few of them ever get old.
I'm okay. Are you feeling scared? I'm not scared.
Now's not the time to be scared. That comes later.
But your hands are shaking. Shaking with excitement! So my body temperature rises and my digestion improves and I can eat even more. I don't think that's how shaking with excitement works. I'll do my best. See, I want to go back with you all. Let's keep working together, Ken-chan.
She seems to call everyone Chan.
Oh, looks like your bodyguard is all jelly.
Jelly? Zen, are you all jelly?
Never make food-related metaphors around Ray, just a heads up.
Jelly? What do you mean?
You're not all jelly?
As I said, what do you mean? Does it look like I am made of this jelly you speak of?
No. Is Zen-kun really that dense?
Dense? What is this all about?
So dense he doesn't even understand what dense means.
We're just talking about how adorbs Ray-chan is.
And again,
Oh?
don't do that around Zen.
Thank you very much.
See, he's totally glaring at us. Though I was serious about Ray-chan being cute. Like, look how innocent she is. That's how a girl should be, you know?
What are you looking at me for?
I mean, just the other day. Come on, hear me out. Yucatan and I were in the hallway and we heard someone say, Yukari-san has such a nice figure. Can you guess what Yucatan said when she heard that? That was it.
All I hear is people talking about me behind my back.
That's not cute at all.
It's not like I want you to call me cute anyway.
Oh, then who do you want to hear that from?
Will you give it a rest? Hey, leader, come on, say something.
Well, we have the option. Let's be in character for Gary Stu here.
Hey, what the heck?
That's not how you acted when I said it. What gives?
Honestly, how much longer are you going to play around? Do you want to be left behind?
You got told.
Well, whose fault do you think that is? Jeez.
Yeah, pretty sure they both got told there.
Everyone, may I have your attention for a moment?
We interrupt this comedic moment for...
Elizabeth has something she'd like to discuss, so please come to the Velvet Room.
And this is why I wanted to go to the start of this floor before I left the dungeon.
It sounds like it's good news. We'll be waiting for you.
In a practice run, I may have left the dungeon before doing that, and then I realized that the moment that you first start this floor, you get this, and then you kind of have to go back anyway.
Sounds fishy.
Taking Elizabeth's prior speech and conduct into account, the probability of this being good is very low.
For once, Ike is actually totally wrong here.
You intend to take your chances on the lower probability. That is quite manly.
I think Garrick Su's been reprogramming Igus.
Well then, I recommend that we go before we forget.
So yeah, you can still explore this floor, but it's highly recommended that you head back to the Velvet Room right now. That's the wrong place for the stairs to be. The stairs are there. And let's use the Goho M to head back now. And you automatically get dragged into the cutscene once you do.
Please pardon us for summoning you so suddenly, but the preparations have finally been made.
Oh, hi Theodore, you weren't here last time.
Preparations?
If multiple personas can be summoned, then you will require fusion.
Fusion?
Fusion is the secret art of using 2 or more personas to create a new one.
The secret art of the cheap tactic to make weak Persona stronger. I'm so sorry, but I never made that joke in Persona 3 and I felt I was obliged to at some point, so here it is.
We, the residents of the Velvet Room, normally lend our assistance to our guests with this secret art. One could say that fusion is the true purpose of the Velvet Room.
Yeah, we were gonna get this eventually.
It took some time to determine whether this place is stable enough to perform fusions. Elizabeth, I would ask that you be the one to perform these fusions.
Very well. As the older sibling, I will indulge Theo's selfishness.
This is, I'm okay then.
Selfishness?
Our master's absence must be related to the reason you have wandered into this unstable haven in the Rift.
Okay, slight spoiler, it's actually not.
If your fate necessitates it, then as residents of the Velvet Room, we will lend you our assistance. It will not go exactly as our master does it, but I will perform persona fusions from now on to aid you all. Fusing a powerful persona is the best method of strengthening oneself.
She's not kidding.
If an enemy seems overpoweringly strong, then try performing some fusions here.
Standard gameplay advice, really, for any SMT game.
I will also prepare a persona compendium to manage multiple personas.
And this is also pretty standard, although thankfully, we unlock the compendium in this game the moment we have access to fusion. I really wish that was the case back in Persona 3. Oh, it took so long to actually get the compendium in that game.
I may as well use this opportunity to secure communication with other worlds.
This is actually totally new, though.
We can search for others who are trapped somewhere, just as you are. I am certain that this will aid you as well. Please remember it.
That actually relates to Street Pass functionality.
It did turn out to be something good after all.
See? What I was saying.
What a disappointment.
Okay, then. I guess wanted things to go badly? So we now have access to the Velvet Room, so let's go ahead and go right there.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
And thankfully we have Elizabeth doing the fusions for us here, although it would be kind of nice to see Theodore doing it too. So, yeah, quite a few things to cover here, but Persona Fusion is fairly standard. Except if you played Persona 3, you might not be used to this fusion search thing. So normal spread is how you normally fuse personas. You select two personas, for example, Pixie and Anzu, and in this case we'll end up getting Sandman out of it, which is not a possible fusion because we can only have one of each persona in our stock at one time. So, that's basically the normal way to do persona fusions, and in this case you might notice personas coming up that are much higher than your level. You can only fuse a persona that's equal to or lower than the protagonist level, so Shisa is completely off limits to us for now. However, there is another fusion method here. If we select Fusion Search, we'll instead see a list of all the personas we can make out of what we currently have, which is actually only 2, which is kind of a shame. We can make either Empusa or Mokoi. They're both personas that I would highly recommend at this point. So, Empusa, there are 3 ways we could make you, either with Koropakura and Anzu, Sandman and Apsaras, or Pixie and Agarthion. That's actually a little annoying. I kind of want to get rid of Pixie, but I don't want to get rid of Agarthion, because Agarthion hasn't learned Resist Fire yet. However, I do like Empusa. Okay, let me just see what I can use to make Mokoi. Hopefully one of these spreads involves Sandman. No. Slime isn't bad. Slime's already learned most of its skills, though Rakuunda would be kind of nice to have. I can pass down Disarm. That's very good, although Apsaras gives a very good bonus to SP. Koropakura and Azumi, Pixie and Slime. Actually, Pixie and Slime is probably not bad. I could pass down both Poison and Pulimpa onto McCoy, but McCoy doesn't really have a lot of SP to do that. That's annoying. Ideally, I wanted one of these to include Sandman, because McCoy and Sandman are kind of redundant together, and I would sort of prefer having my status ailments on something with higher magic. Yeah, this is always kind of a problem with the with Persona Fusions. Sometimes the persona that you want to get rid of is not the one that you need to use to make a persona that you want. Anyway, let me just show the compendium for a second. What we currently have in our compendium... Okay, yeah, that pretty much confirms it. So, all of the personas in our compendium are just registered in their default states. So, we want to go ahead and register everything we have on hand. This is how the compendium works. You can register a persona that you already have, and if you get rid of it later through fusion or just dumping it due to getting a persona card and not having enough space in your persona slots for it, you can summon it again for, as Moneybags would say, a small fee. Usually quite a large fee. The fee depends on how high the persona's level is, so having a persona registered here in their base level does cost a lot less than having one registered in a higher level, like this Slime here, but I usually like to register all of my personas. Now, here's a pretty cool feature of the compendium. Say you've got a persona that you really like the skills on it and you don't want to erase it at some point. So, let me just give you an example. Say I'm exploring and I find a Pixie card, and I go back to the Velvet Room and accidentally press Register All. This low-level Pixie will overwrite the max-level Pixie that I have in the compendium currently, and I don't want that. So what I can do is I can press the Y button to put a lock on this compendium entry. By doing this, this ensures that even if I do have a lower level Pixie, and I do register all, that will not overwrite this Pixie. The Pixie here is currently locked. So the lock feature is very useful in my opinion. Extremely useful. So is there anything else here that I probably don't want to lock Amen or Uzume, because I like to make one of these myself and pass down some other navigator skills to it. Renewal Ray is very, very useful. I like to have that before the first boss, but for now... Let's see, I think the compendium's fine as is. Now, there are 2 things we can do with the compendium. We can, actually some more things we can do. We can actually see the persona's mythological info. Slime is pretty much just generic. It's mostly just from regular RPGs. But, hey, this is what Agarthion is. So, yeah, it's kind of cool how, you can see the mythological info on these personas, and... But if we press the R button, we can sort personas by level or by arcana, and if we press the X button, we can switch from only registered personas to a list of every single persona that is available, and get a bit of a sneak preview of some of the higher level personas we'll be seeing later in the game. For example, If you've played other Persona or Shin Megami Tensei games, you probably know who this is. And you probably know who that is. So we can get a bit of a sneak preview of Personas that we might be seeing later in the game. That one is not familiar if you've played Persona 3, but it is from 4. However, here is one, well, there are two annoying things about this All Personas function. The first is that there are actually secret Personas, or should I say secret fusions, that do not appear in the compendium until you fuse them. And in fact, the only way to know how to fuse them is to have the right components and go into fusion search, or just already know what the fusion recipe for them is. I'll be showing off these once I get to them, but for now I can just say one of them. As an example, Jack Frost, Pyrojack, and King Frost all fused make Black Frost, but Black Frost will not show up in the compendium until you fused it. So, like I said, I'll be covering these secret fusions later. The other annoying thing about the compendium is notice this persona that's listed in blue? So, yeah. Blue personas are DLC. And sadly, DLC personas appear in the compendium regardless of whether or not you've bought them. If you don't chill out for the DLC, you'll have empty slots in the All Personas list. Now, I'm pretty sure, although I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to be very angry at the game, but I'm pretty sure they do not count towards 100% compendium completion, but they do still appear in the list, and it is a bit annoying. Now, this persona, though, this DLC persona, is free DLC. Here's the thing, though, I'm not going to be showing any of the free DLC personas, because even though they are free, they are quite game-breaking, so I prefer not to use them. For example, Golden Link is ridiculously good, and this persona eventually learns another, I guess I can just say, this is Orpheus Telos. Orpheus Telos learns another insanely good skill later on, and yeah, even the free DLC personas, for example, there's one of them of the Moon Arcana, this one, which you might recognize if you played Persona 4, but only Golden. Purifying Rain is kind of nice. This is ridiculously good for early in the game, and it eventually learns a healing skill that's absurdly powerful for early on, so yeah. The DLC personas, even the free ones, are pretty game-breaking, so I personally like to avoid them. Anyway, let's actually do a fusion. I definitely want Empusa, because Empusa eventually learns Tentarafu, which is an all-enemy targeting panic skill. Definitely want that, especially for later in the game, but for now it's not going to be as important, but still pretty useful. Okay, who do I want to fuse for this? The thing is, Upsaras has a really good amount of SP. However, if I'm going to be getting McCoy, I can probably safely get rid of Sandman. Let's go for this, in fact, and let's pass down Disarm, and I guess we can pass down... I can go for Garu for multiple elemental coverage, or I can use Tarukaja, which I actually haven't been using that much. I kind of prefer multi-target buffs to single-target buffs in this game. Or I could pass Treasure Hunter, but that's only useful for navigators. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Also, as you can see, in Persona Q, it operates like Persona 4 Golden. You can choose the skills to pass down in Fusion. This is absolutely amazing. It's pretty much the same overall effect as the Persona skill inheritance system of Persona 3 and Vanilla 4, just that it's less luck reliant. You can actually get the skills you want right from the start. You don't have to re-roll the Persona a bajillion times. So much better. Anyway, we have Empusa, and Elizabeth has her own unique fusion animation, which is pretty cool. Also a separate animation for fusion accidents. Now, McCoy. Okay, we can actually make Sandman again. That little book icon means that persona is already registered to your compendium, so yeah, kind of like the Pokeball icon in the Pokemon games next to Pokemon you've already caught before. Okay, McCoy. I can either fuse... I think I decided Pixie plus Slime would be my best bet here. Even though this Slime's getting pretty good and it will eventually learn Rakuunda. I could go for Rakuunda, but I don't know, I can get Rakuunda on other stuff later. Let's see, you will get, how about Poison, Pulimpa, and... Restoring Touch. I don't know, that might be sort of useful, but I think I'd probably prefer Dia, maybe? And McCoy is a persona that I really like because it actually comes from Australian Aboriginal mythology. You can skip this animation, by the way. I'm just showing it for now because it looks pretty cool. But yes, you can skip it. And in fact, if the skip option does not appear, and you're pressing the start button as much as, and you're mashing the start button and it doesn't skip, that means you had a fusion accident. So a bit of an interface spoiler there. So we can't actually fuse anything more from what we have. Also, any persona that you fuse is automatically added to the compendium in the state that it was in when you fused it. So we don't need to worry about registering those. So yeah, this episode's got pretty wordy, but it's about to get a little bit more wordy because now Street Pass books. This is an interesting feature to this game. So there are constant other worlds, and they're all of the other games people are playing of Persona Q. This won't be useful to me because I never let my recording 3DS leave the house, it's much too expensive for that. But you can make a Street Pass book and choose a sub-persona to put in that. If you Street Pass with someone, you'll be able to summon that sub-persona, and it's basically the exact same as summoning from the compendium, so it will cost money. Oh, and you can actually choose a Street Pass name, and it can be different to the name you choose for your main character, which is pretty cool. So I can afford to do this. So when you've chosen a Street Pass name, you can choose a persona to put in here. This can be anything that you have, and this will not remove the persona from your inventory. Though as you can see, that minus yen there, that's how much that other players will need to pay for this persona. So for now, who do I want to put in here? I guess I can put the McCoy in.
Thank you.
And you can freely change your Street Pass persona at any time. So, yeah, by the way, the Street Pass persona that I have on my original copy of this game, which is not on this 3DS, it's actually on a different 3DS, and it's an Australian game, so it wouldn't be compatible with this 3DS anyway. Also, you can actually do a QR code. So you can actually share a QR code for the persona that you've registered as well, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, if you want, I don't even need to Street Pass with you, you can point a camera at this screen, or, like, if you've got this game, you can scan this QR code and get this McCoy. Oh, you know, that's actually really cool. I never really realized the implications this had for YouTube playthroughs. Like, seriously, if there's any persona that I fuse over the course of the game and people in the comments are interested, I can share the QR code and you can all use it, so that is really cool. I didn't realize that. So, what I was saying before is that the persona that I have on my original file is Hallel. If I'll say so myself, a pretty good Hallel. It's the one that I had on the protagonist at the very end of the game. So, anyway, now that we've done that, we might as well go ahead and sell some stuff in the workshop. Yeah, this was a pretty long part, but I wanted to cover Fusion as best as I could. And we can buy quite a few things, including the oils. Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and buy that stuff later on. Like I said before, I don't really use the oils very much. Can get a new weapon, but I don't know. And then I'll go ahead and heal, and then I think we'll end this part. So next time we'll begin You in Wonderland Floor 3, and that's where the difficulty steps up quite a bit. So I will see you then.